thanks to the support as a channel member, Ben Renwick. Well, it turns out I hadn't mastered general allocation money and designated players after all, and most of those transfers I showed you yesterday have fallen through. But we have managed to sign a new designated player without getting rid of an old one. So the mystery continues, and today we get to challenge ourselves against some Mexican opposition to get a little bit of a preview of what the Champions League is going to be like when we eventually get there. Because as you can see, we are one of the best teams in MLS now. We're doing jolly well, but if we go to Cruz Azul in Mexico, who are a mid-table Mexican team, and get battered in the League's Cup, we know we need to go to Mexico because we're not going to win the Champions League from MLS no matter how well we do, and we can stop trying to figure it out. But as I was saying, transfers, most of them fell through. This guy is one that we had prearranged. The others all fell through, but we were then able to go and buy Mohamed Nabil, who is a young designated player. There you go, young designated player, because I think Unlove has now come off being a designated player. I don't really know. Yeah, he's a senior contract. I don't really know why he ever was a designated player with the contract that he was on. But I think the problem we had is that with all the new boys coming in, despite the fiddling with the general allocation money I'd done, they were going to take us over the salary cap. So I think I had to lower that before. I have now lowered it after, but I now can't agree terms with those players. I've not seen a Generation Adidas player before. I don't even know what one of those is. We're not going to worry about that. The point is, we are still doing very, very well. We're on a long, long winning run. This is what the MLS table looks like, with 3 points behind Chicago Fire, with a game in hand over them. And if we flick over to the Supporters' Shield, you can see we're also second behind Chicago Fire in that. So if we head over to the rules and look at the Supporters' Shield, you can see continental qualification is complicated. So through the Supporters' Shield, in fact, there you go. Here's how the places are allocated. So the winner of the MLS Cup, the top team from the Supporters' Shield, I don't know what happens if they're the same team, that team defeated in the MLS Cup. So if you get to the MLS Cup final, you're in the Champions League. If you finish top of the Supporters' Shield, you're in the Champions League. And then second and third place in the Supporters' Shield, also in. However, there's also a depending on the winner, runner-up of the Lamar Hunt US Open Cup. So I'm guessing I guess the winner of the Lamar Hunt Cup goes in, and maybe even the runner-up, if they're not in the top 5. I don't know. I can't work out if the places from this are in addition to. Yeah, it's complicated. Are they in addition to the league places? So that they get straight in, and then there's 5 from the league. And I think this League's Cup that we're playing in today also has Champions League qualification. I don't know. Where's the final? Playoff final. There you go. So if you get to the final, in fact, if you get to the semi-final, you've got a pretty good chance of getting into the Champions League, because both finalists get in the Champions League and the winner of the third place playoff get into the Champions League. So it's another route in. So there's potentially by my maths, out of the 29 teams in MLS, there is the potential for 9 of them to qualify. It won't necessarily be 9 because the League's Cup is likely to have good Mexican teams in too. But there is a genuine chance that we should get in, is what I'm saying. Let's go play Cruz Azul, who, like I say, mid-table Mexican team, and this is the team we're going to send there to play them. It's going to be Yamoa in goal, a back four of Prencha, Contreras, Fus, and new boy Mohamed Nabil, who does look very good. We've finally got a proper right back. And also, Philip Fus is now a full American international as well. He was off playing in the CONCACAF Gold Cup, so has missed a few matches for us recently. It does mean Daluli no longer in our first choice 11. He's obviously still someone we're going to use. He's first reserve for there, and probably there. But we actually have a first team that doesn't involve squashing Dylan Daluli in somewhere. In midfield, we've got new boy Grimmer alongside Runnison, who's probably the only player who's survived who was a first team regular when I arrived. Maybe Prencha as well. But Runnison still very much part of the team. And then as our attacking midfield three, it's Velez, Estevez and North, with Villakazi up front. Unlove is slowly but surely recovering, 3 to 7 weeks until he's back. So he's actually going to be back and fit long before the end of the season. He's not going to be able to play in MLS at any point, even if we get to the playoffs, even if we get to the MLS Cup final. He'll be fully fit but unable to play because when he first did his cruciate ligament, we put him on the season-ending injury list, and I don't think there's any way to take him off it, even if he recovers, which seems insane. That of all of the confusing things here in USA, that is insane. That he's fit again. Well, tough. You said he wasn't going to be. Yeah, but he is. Yeah, but you said he wasn't going to be. So, yeah, we can't use him. However, if we run deep in the Leagues Cup, he can play in this. So he could potentially still contribute towards us getting into the Champions League by one route or another. But obviously we do need to make it past this lot first. And, we've started well. We look like the strongest team at the moment, but this is their first attack and they very nearly scored from it and nobody's turned up. They're not that keen on the Leagues Cup, are they? Which is an odd one, really, because it's a route into the Champions League. This is the quarterfinal. In fact, no, this is the South quarterfinal. Bearing in mind there's a load of Mexican teams in this. Are they all in the South? Are we in? Where is Charlotte? Are we in the South? Surely they spread the Mexican teams around, or do the northern teams in America, like if you're Montreal or Toronto, you're basically guaranteed to run through because the only teams from the north are any good. I am confused. But yeah, if we can get through to that playoff at the end, which I think means going all the way through, winning the South final, and that then qualifies us for the playoff, because nothing is straightforward and sensible in American sports, is what I'm learning. They love to have as many finals as possible. They love a playoff, and yeah, getting to the final of this, all it does is qualify us for the next thing. Get Villakazi. Couldn't get his shot away. I mean, it was a great opportunity, one-on-one with a keeper, but unfortunately just a little bit slow reacting, and it remains 0-0. We are so far ahead on XG, and it counts for nothing. I said nobody had turned up. Over 10,000 people are here. It's obviously just an enormous stadium. In fact, we didn't come and have a look at it. Never mind. We'll hopefully get to come back to Mexico again one day, and then we can have a look at their stadium. I was so distracted by potential Champions League routes that we didn't have time for any tourism. It's just a flying visit, in and out. And we're already over 2 on our XG and still showing no signs of scoring a goal. I have a feeling this is going to be one of those sucker punch days that Football Manager likes to get you with oh so often. I mean, what I have learned just from looking at the XG is we're certainly good enough to dominate a mid-table Mexican team. Are we going to be as good as the top teams in Mexico? That's a question for if and when we get to play any of them. But we know we should theoretically be competitive, which is all we can really ask for. Deluli's coming on. We've also brought on Kim and Mejia, and fingers crossed we can find a late breakthrough. We don't really have much in the way of an attacking option. We did sign Mamadouba Camara, who's got 18 caps for Guinea at 19 years old. Did score a decent number of goals down in Guinea. Don't necessarily want to throw the opportunity to him just yet, though, because we don't know if he's any good. That being said, we might bring him on here. No, we'll bring on Lenning, drop Mejia back, and we'll do that. We'll leave Villakazi on. I don't know if this goes to a replay, a second leg, extra time, penalties. No, in America, it'll be hockey-style penalties, because why wouldn't it be? And we might not even find out because they're going to score from a corner here. I don't feel very confident. Bearing in mind the form that we're in, I just have a feeling about Mexican teams that they're going to do things like this to us. Although I think they are offside there, so I think we might have got away with that one. The referee or the linesman definitely had his flag up. The referee's got his finger in his ear. Come on, ref, sort us out. Good work, referee. Use that as your as your turning point 85 minutes into the match. We've dominated. We should be winning this match. Asker attempting a throw. It was pathetic. He is playing left back. We could have probably played Deluli out there. But Kim trying to get into a crossing position. It's chaos in the area. I am just going to shuffle. We'll put Asker in there and Nabil can go left back and Deluli can go right back. None of it is ideal. It's gone from one player out of position to three, but I don't like Asker at left back. I don't really know why I brought him on there and left him there. I'd like to think I had a plan, but at least Nabil knows how to play fullback. It's straight to penalties because America. Well, let's see how we get on, I guess. We did learn, regardless of the outcome, we learned we can compete with the Mexican teams. That's important. It is interesting. That goalkeeper had barely made it back to his line. It is worth noting, obviously, we are a dominant MLS team on like a 10-match winning run who've been held to a 0-0 draw by a mid-table Mexican team. So everything needs a little bit of context. I don't know that we're going to be able to run straight through to a Champions League final in our current state, but let's just make sure we qualify for it first, eh? Mejia makes it 2-1. Oh, this is our first penalty shoot. So it's certainly our first penalty shootout in a long time. I don't remember having one in the Pentagon up until this point. I mean, we must have done, but certainly I don't remember commentating on one. They're slow going, aren't they? 2-2. Yamoa, that would look like it was straight down his throat. But unfortunately, he's let it just pass through him. And now Kurt Villakazi missed a sitter during the match, but wasn't going to miss his penalty. It's 3-2. And now we could really do with Yamoa stepping up and saving a penalty. Look, he's a big boy. Just save a penalty. I mean, he's not even, all he's done is flopped to his side there. He's not even diving. Put some stretch into it, man, for goodness sake. Lenning now, who came off the bench towards the end of the match. I mean, that was a very confident penalty from a very confident man. Please don't do stuff like that. Just kick it hard. That's all I ever want from any penalty taker. Just kick it really hard towards the goal. And is this going to be one of those that ends up being 10 penalties apiece? It's going to be Foose, our newly capped USA international, from the penalty spot, and he scores. I don't know why his squad number has changed. He was number 2 earlier in the season. He's now number 13. There's no logic to it. But now we would like that Yamoa penalty save. This is his moment for Yamoa to make himself a hero and for us to get into the Southern semi-final. It feels like the Johnson's Paint Trophy, but there is a big prize at the end of it. Similar to the Johnson's Paint Trophy. You get a day out at Wembley. You get to eat a hard-boiled egg. And Yamoa has saved the penalty. We're through to the South semi-final. We are keeping our options open for routes into the Champions League, and that's very important. Wow, we just keep on running with this. We play in 2 days' time. Is this going to be an episode all about the Leagues Cup? Only if it's a big Mexican team. I don't need to show you us playing against someone from MLS because you see that all the time. But if that ends up being a big Mexican team, we'll watch us play a Mexican team again. And it did end up being a big Mexican team. We're off to Mexico City to play Pumas, which is played at the Estadio Olímpico Universitario, which looks enormous. I mean, that looks like an absurdly big stadium. This might be the biggest stadium we've played in this entire series. Let's plop down in the middle of the pitch. Okay, it doesn't look as impressive from the inside. I mean, it still looks pretty big, but it's maybe not as enormous as I first thought. But yeah, Mexico City. Let's have a look at it from the outside. Looks like there's decent parking outside as well. There you go. There's the stadium. It doesn't come up very high, does it? It must be one of those bowls that goes down into the ground. Can't park there, mate. Goodness me. Or maybe you can. There's literally an empty car park there. We're off to Mexico, everybody. That stadium apparently holds nearly 69,000 people. Nice. This is the team. It will look very familiar to you because it is the same team we played in the last game. Let's see if we can get past a different Mexican team. This lot are 5th in the league in Mexico, so slightly better. I imagine that means we'll struggle slightly more. But you never know. 20,000 people have turned up for this one, so twice as many people. Still not close to filling the ground. Mexico is still not feeling the League's Cup, clearly. But I'm enjoying a little cup run. We're into the South semi-final now, and fingers crossed we can book ourselves a final, which then earns us a spot in another semi-final, I think. It's confusing. It's so confusing. Oh, my word. Okay. Maybe the Mexican teams are quite good. Remember, we went into this episode on a long winning streak, not just an unbeaten run, a long winning streak. We've been held to a draw by a mid-table team. And, I mean, they've just scored with their first shot. That doesn't necessarily mean they're loads better than us. But it certainly does feel like we're stepping up a level playing against the Mexican teams. So it does bring me back to what I was saying at the start of the video of I'm spending all this time learning how MLS works. It might be that there's no point because for us to win the Champions League, we're going to need to go to Mexico anyway. Because if becoming the best team in America means you're an average team in the Champions League, I'm not here for that. I'm here to win Champions Leagues. We have won a penalty, though, which is jolly nice. And it's going to be Estevez to take. And we're quite good at scoring penalties today. Lovely penalty from Estevez. 13 goals this season for him, and we are right back in it. There you go. We've had our little moment of panic. XG-wise, we're well ahead again. We're better than all of Mexico. That's what we're learning here. They're taking a pervert corner. I don't approve of it at all. And they're just dancing through us. Oh, my word. I mean, this is the strongest version of a defence that we've had during my entire time at the club as well. We've actually got 4 first-team quality defenders out there, which is... it's a little bit alarming just how easily they're getting through them, but we're not going to worry. We're not going to worry for now. It's 1-1. We're doing okay. We've got Kurt Villacazzi up front. He only needs one chance. He might miss it, but he only needs one. And fingers crossed he'll get that chance in the second half because we didn't get anything from open play in that first half. And yeah, we are struggling to assert ourselves on this one a little bit. But there is Grimmer playing it back to Foos. Foos across to Asker. And now Asker to Runnison. That's terrible. Prencher loses out on the ball. Runnison kind of tries to win it back but fails. And the Mexicans are coming for us again. But Nabil, that's why we spent £10 million on him. He's the most expensive player in our history, and he is quite good. Apologies if you heard all the vibrations coming from my wrist there, boys and girls. Someone was really keen to save me money on my utility bills. But they've been dealt with. When I was a kid, I used to keep, or my parents... I'm not the maniac, my dad is, used to keep a whistle next to the phone. So when nuisance callers rang, he'd just blow a whistle. That was quite effective. I might have to get a whistle. Would that still work in this world of mobile phones and automated calls? Can I scare off an automated sales call line by blowing a whistle at it? Probably not. Let me know, boys and girls. I've blocked the caller though, so they're not going to be ringing back. We're all good. Right. Where were we? Estevez trying to win the ball back. And I mean, that seems to be a bit of a theme for us. Lots of trying to win the ball back and failing. And they've scored from range again. That guy has scored twice today. They're his first 2 goals of the season. Welcome to Football Manager 2024, boys and girls. I assume you've played us before. Right, we've gone attacking. We're demanding more. Our League's Cup fun might be over here, which I think we're holding our own again. I'm not playing this thinking there's no chance we could win a Champions League. I certainly feel like now I'm closer to understanding how squad registration and transfers work. We've been able to bring in a really good player in the shape of Nabil. We've got a balanced defence and midfield for the first time. Unlov's fit again for next season. I think if we can qualify this year, I think we have a chance of doing quite well next year. I'm not completely writing it off. Let's have a look at Camera, see if he's any good. But yeah, we're not going to steamroller it the way we did in Asia, are we? Which is not ideal. I love a steamrollering. Yeah, we're not quite at Mexico's level yet. I mean, if a good Mexican job becomes available, I'm not gonna say no. That being said, I have just signed a new 3-year contract here at Charlotte, so I'm in for the long haul. Yeah, it's 3-1. Our League's Cup fun is over, and we've been absolutely FM'd as well. They've scored 3 goals from 0.55 XG, which suggests Yamoa's had an absolute shocker of a game in goal, which it wasn't really the time. He could have saved that for our next MLS game, because most MLS games don't really matter. because you can lose 10 of them and still finish in the top 9 and get into the playoffs and win the league. As we showed last year, we almost got into the playoffs from being rock bottom with 8 games to go. But yeah, this is one defeat and you're done. We are out of the Leagues Cup. I think it's all Mexican teams left in our area of the draw, which tells its own story about where the MLS teams stack up. But we've focused back in on MLS. I'll probably meet you towards the end of the regular season. We've got no more cups left to play for. We're looking good in the league. So I'll probably meet you towards the end of the league and we'll start planning for those playoffs. If you've enjoyed that, please make sure you leave a nice big thumbs up on there for me. Subscribe to the channel for daily Football Manager videos. And thank you very much for watching.